Okay. Let's begin the briefing. Operator Eugene Solano. I'll be keeping you up to date. We've got news that an invading LASAF squadron has just taken off from the Puna Plains, en route for an attack on our position, Aubrey Base. From their perspective, this attack is the final nail in our collective coffin. After all, this is the only base that hasn't fallen under their control. I guess we can consider ourselves lucky. It looks like the enemy has gotten a little overconfident and sent only a small attack force. Griffith Squadron, prepare for launch immediately. Fly around the mountains and avoid enemy radar. Oh, I forgot. The enemy squadron consists mainly of bombers supported by several fighters. Please protect this base and destroy the enemy bombers. If everything goes well, we should be able to get the upper hand on the enemy in this area. All right, please prepare for launch. Let's pay back the LASAF forces with at least one defeat. One final thing. During combat, my codename will be Crux. I will keep you up to date on the battle situation, so please pay attention to your radio.
Maintain your present course. Do you see the enemy formation on your radar? Read you loud and clear. We're coming up on the enemy from behind, just like we planned. You can let the escorts go. Just
So what we got? After all, we're really pilots. Isn't that right, Captain?
excuse me, Griffith 2. Please use code names during the mission. Understood.
Jeez, this new guy does everything by the book.
Don't you think I can one? What? Hold on a second. He's being bombed. Unbelievable. There are no military facilities in that city. What are you doing? You shouldn't be wasting ordnance. Relax. We're just going to bomb some base in the sticks, right? There'll be more than enough ordnance left to finish the job. The enemy! They've stuck up from behind! What? Where the hell did they come from?
The mission was a success. The destruction of the enemy bombers will help keep an enemy invasion of Aubrey Base at bay. However, we also suffered serious losses. There's no way anyone could ever call this mission a success. I'm sorry. I couldn't do anything to save them. So that's the super weapon LASAP used to take over all of Aurelia in only 10 days. Who could have imagined that they possessed such destructive power?
Let this be a symbol of the fury borne by our countrymen towards Aurelia.
Such was the impassioned speech of LASATH's commander Diego Gaspar Navarro, as images of the Aurelian squadron's destruction over Cape Aubrey played in the background. A day later, his gravelly voice continued to echo through my hungover brain. October. 1 year after the cessation of the Democratic Republic of LASATH's civil war. After the Civil War, LASATH began to set their sights on their peaceful neighbor, the Federal Republic of Aurelia, claiming retribution for years of exploitation. The invasion suddenly began. With the ever-present threat of the cloaked airborne fortress, Gleipnir, looming overhead, there was little time to react to the few concerns raised about the validity of the war. Such was the speed at which all of Aurelia fell under LASATH's control. Well, not everything has fallen into their hands, but it's only a matter of time. Looking out over the capital, Gaius Tower is both home to LASATH's Central Command and the very symbol of its power. It was originally intended to be a symbol of Aurelia's peace. How ironic. As I looked up at the sun traveling the same old path across the sky, the rays burned my tired eyes. Damn it. I just wish I could finish covering this completely one-sided war and head back home. I'll never get used to being in the southern hemisphere with its backwards seasons.
The Gleipnir was last confirmed heading southeast across the Puna Plains. However, we lost all trace of it shortly after. Unfortunately, Aurelia's information network can provide no further details at this time. We'll just have to take what we can get. The airborne fortress Gleipnir nearly wiped out our entire attack force. Even with you, sir, our remaining aerial attack strength is severely limited. We no longer have the necessary manpower or supplies to pursue Gleipnir. In addition, there are reports of enemy forces gathering at Port Patterson. If we don't move soon, it will only be a matter of time before they attack from behind. Given the situation, we are left with only one plan of attack. On the Puna Plains lying between Aubrey Base and Port Patterson, LASAF forces have hastily constructed a resupply base to house the large quantity of supplies needed to support their troops. Attack Puna Base. Destroy all parked bombers and base facilities. Take away the enemy's ability to fight. If you succeed, we'll gain an important foothold for an attack on Port Patterson. And what's more, we'll gain the supplies we need to win this fight. Unless we succeed in taking this base, that's it for our supplies. Please don't fail, sir. Retreating LASAF forces have abandoned Puna base. The base, including all provisions stored there, now belong to us. Now we'll be able to provide backup support for our troops. The battle to retake Port Patterson is about to begin. Our scattered forces have come together for this battle. They're few in number, but we've managed to assemble a small ground force. However, the LASAF fleet continues to gather in Port Patterson, and the presence of the Transportation Corps has also been confirmed. Having lost Puna base, it appears LASAF now intends to shuttle in troops and supplies overseas. If any more ships dock at Port Patterson, enemy strength will become more than our ground troops can handle. In order to prevent this, we need you to launch a preliminary strike on Port Patterson. Destroy all enemy supply vessels, landing ships, and freighters. In particular, try to keep as many enemy landing ships from entering the port as possible. Battle supplies must not reach the enemy. The number of enemy landing ships inside the port will be displayed on the MPG in the upper right-hand corner of your HUD. If the MPG reaches the max level, our forces will no longer be able to retake Port Patterson. This time, a substantial enemy counterattack is to be expected. It seems the loss of Puna base has put them on guard. Please be careful.
Griffith 1, you are cleared for takeoff. Griffith 1, altitude restrictions canceled. Return to your mission. Good luck. Griffith 1. Check your MPG. Pay careful attention to the MPG during this mission. Crux to Griffith 1. Check your MPG on the right side of the HUD. The MPG will display the number of landing ships from the port. Please pay careful attention to the MPG during this mission. So, you're Griffith 1, huh? I'm Major Berkman, Ground Force Commander. There are landing ships within the enemy fleet. We'll lose the battle if a battalion is allowed to make it ashore. Do not allow more than 3 landing ships to enter the port. We'll be risking our
We've succeeded in destroying the enemy fleet gathered in Port Patterson. Our ground troops scored a major victory by using the chaos caused by our attack to storm in and secure the port. We freed Port Patterson from the hands of the enemy. It's still kind of hard to believe.
The emblem of the Southern Cross. It was on that very day that the aircraft bearing the mark of the Southern Hemisphere brought about the defeat of Laysath forces. But the story barely made the news, and the army showed no apparent reaction. Almost nightly, Laysath's commanding officer, Diego Gaspar Navarro, plays host to grand banquets within Gaius Tower. This evening, he is once again proudly trumpeting the glory of his airborne fortress. I've heard the speech so many times, it feels like I wrote it. Which, in a way, is a good thing, because it lets me concentrate on enjoying the food instead. As I gazed out the window at the night sky, I felt as if even the phases of the moon were somehow at odds with those of the Northern Hemisphere. The words of a fellow reporter, who fancied himself a connoisseur of fine wine, really got me thinking about the price of the glass of wine in my hand. One glass of it is roughly equivalent to several years of a Laysathian citizen's salary. Haven't the long years of civil war left Laysath an impoverished and war-torn nation? Whatever the case, much is unclear about the flow of money in Laysath. Ever since I arrived here, I've only covered stories the military had approved. However, this particular mystery just might be worth investigating on my own. The idea was nothing more than the product of an idle mind. At least at the time.
Okay, let's get started with a report of the situation. I think our best option under the circumstances would be to head towards Santa Elva. Santa Elva is a strategic location that we have to pass through to get to the capital, Griswold. However, there are several other strategic points on the way to Santa Elva. Which points you choose and in what order you do so is up to you. It looks like your decisions will affect the course of this battle. I know it's an immense responsibility, but there's no one else to count on. We're relying on you to get us through this. It appears that the enemy's Miller unit is gathering at Kings Hill. It looks like they're trying to take back Port Patterson. I wonder what they're up to. Next, we have reports that the Allied Davis unit is cut off at Stand Canyon. Gleipnir took off from Puna Base and is currently standing by at Terminus Island. With the long strike range of the Gleipnir, there's not much our forces can do. It appears that the enemy is moving towards Stand Canyon to eliminate our remaining forces. We'll need those remaining forces in our attack on Santa Elva, so I think we should probably send help. If left alone, they'll be helpless against the aerial fortress, just like what happened to us at Cape Aubrey. Also, Santa Elva is a key location for the enemy, and I think they'll concentrate their forces there. We'll have major problems if they send in their aerial fortress. I'll give you more details once you decide on a route. Please tell me which route you plan to take. The Gleipnir is now positioned above Terminus Island. It is using the island as a resupply base and as a staging point for long-range attacks on Stand Canyon. The troops stranded at Stand Canyon are vital to the upcoming assault on Santa Elva. But they're pinned down as long as the Gleipnir's assault is allowed to continue. Something must be done about the situation, and soon. Analysis of the SWBM attack at Cape Aubrey has shown that the shockwave of the missile dissipates before reaching ground level. Hoping to utilize this weakness, the remaining Aurelian fleet has gathered for a counter-assault on the airborne fortress. We have been informed that the assault will begin as soon as we are ready. How shall we proceed, sir?
Griffith 1, you are cleared for takeoff. Griffith 1, altitude restrictions canceled. Return to your mission. Good luck.
First Fleet to Third Fleet. Any sign of the Gleipnir?
Third Fleet. No sign of it yet.
Understood. Continue your patrol of the area. What's that sound?
Look! It's the Gleipnir!
Just get out there! Attack! Target the Gleipnir!
Commence cannon fire! Hit it with everything we've got!
The SWBM can't reach us here, but watch out for conventional ordnance.
Look! The disc on the bottom is starting to move! Where's he go?
The ships under the Gleipnir just disintegrated!
What the hell was that?
Second Fleet, do you read me? This is the First Fleet! Come in! Come in!
All of those ships destroyed in an instant. Such destructive power. I can't believe they've made such a terrifying weapon. Sir, Griffith 1, it appears the enemy has some kind of new super weapon. If they destroy the rest of our fleet, we'll no longer be able to sustain our military. The MPG will display damage to the Allied fleet. I know it's a dangerous mission. We're counting on you, sir. Optical camouflage must be disengaged before it can will be out of range once the gauge reaches max. Destroy the SWBM before that happens. Damn, he is persistent. The Glacier is launched in SWBM. We think it's the same as the one used at Cape Aubrey. It's too dangerous to fly at high altitude. Try to stay lower than the Glacier.
No special weapons fire remains.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, impact! Great job! The airborne fortress's SWBM has gone up in flames. Raise the engine output to max. We've got to escape. Estimated time to impact, 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, impact! The airborne fortress is rapidly ascending. We can't follow. It's unfortunate we weren't able to destroy the Glacier. However, this was a very important turn of events for us.
We've succeeded in destroying the Gleipnir's SWBM. The surrounding area is no longer in any danger. Unfortunately, the Gleipnir escaped, but this victory has given us hope. I'm starting to feel like retaking Santa Elva is fastly becoming a reality. We have an emergency situation. The Miller unit has moved from Kings Hill for an assault on Port Patterson. They reclaimed the city almost immediately. We've also confirmed the transport of supplies from the port to Santa Elva via Kings Hill. I had no idea this was in their plan. Sorry about that. On with the update. The Gleipnir has withdrawn from the combat zone and is now in Santa Elva. Furthermore, with the destruction of the Gleipnir's SWBM, long-range assaults are no longer a threat. Intelligence reports that LASEF forces are airlifting munitions from Port Patterson to Santa Elva. We think the munitions are for the airborne fortress Gleipnir. At this moment, there is no information on the enemy transport corps formation. Regardless, the mission will be considered a failure if even one of the enemy transport planes escapes out of the combat zone. Destroying all transport planes before that happens will be the main focus of this mission. How do you want to proceed, sir? Port Patterson has been taken by enemy forces and our supply route cut off. There isn't enough fuel to support an extended mission, so make it quick.
Something's wrong. Griffith 1, does something seem amiss? There
we've succeeded in shooting down all enemy transport aircraft bound for Santa Elva. This should prevent the enemy from gaining any new ground for a while. Future missions are sure to be less dangerous thanks to your efforts. Let's hope this victory helps make our future battles a little easier, too. I'll now go over the details of our mission to retake Santa Elva, a city vital to the enemy's transportation network. If we succeed in retaking the city, our capital Griswold will be within reach. It seems that the damage the Gleipnir bore from our attack over Terminus Island is now being repaired here in Santa Elva. The previous battle was proof enough of the ability of individual fighters to effectively strike at the Gleipnir, so all ground forces that run the risk of becoming a target will hold their position here. Enemy ground forces are most likely prepared for any kind of assault, but with the Gleipnir unable to fly, now is the time to strike. Even the Gleipnir wouldn't risk killing their own troops stationed at the base by firing the short-range cannon. It looks like there's no escape for them this time, sir. Port Patterson has been taken by enemy forces, and our supply route cut off. There isn't enough fuel to support an extended mission, so make it quick.
I've got something on radar. The enemy. The Southern Cross is here. They're here already. Prepare the airborne fortress for takeoff. Are you crazy? Repairs aren't finished. The optical camouflage isn't working yet. I don't care. Prepare her for takeoff. One Aurelian fighter is hardly a threat. If that's our orders, I won't take responsibility if anything should happen. What's wrong? You're gaining altitude. God isn't responding like it should. I don't know. The repairs aren't finished. Griffith 1. Just as we thought, the Gleipnir isn't using the shot cannon. The SWDM has already been destroyed. Now's our chance. Finish it off. fire is hardly a threat. If that's our orders, I won't take responsibility if anything should happen. What's wrong? You aren't gaining altitude. Thrust isn't responding like it should. I told you, the repairs aren't finished. One. Just as we thought, the Great Bear isn't using the shot cannon. The SWBM has already been destroyed. Now's our chance. Finish it off. This guy never gives up! It looks like we're gonna need more than conventional weapons to take the bastard down. Damn it! Smoke's pouring into the bridge! Somebody shoot him down already! All conventional weapons are down! We're sitting ducks! Not just yet. We still have a shot cannon, if we can use it against him. What are you doing? No, you can't! Shut up! What do you think we should just sit here while we go down in flames? We just need to aim the shot cannon at the Southern Cross. I did! The glacier will be torn apart! Out of my way! Get your hands off me! We're gonna die anyway! What? That mammoth thing has turned completely upside down. They're going to fire the shot cannon? They plan to fire it like that? Crap! Dive now! Hurry! Watch out for the shot cannon! If you see it preparing to fire, fly to a lower altitude than the Great Bear.
The Gleipnir is no more. Shortly after our victory, ground forces successfully retook Santa Elva. The Santa Elva victory is fantastic news. But even more so, the defeat of the Gleipnir is sure to boost morale and give us a strategic advantage in this war. Next, we liberate the capital Griswold. We've already come this far, sir.
Unthinkable! The chatter of the nightly parties fell into silence. In place of the sumptuous banquet, weapons to protect the capital were rolled in. Griswold is in turmoil over the shocking news, but who would have thought that underneath the chaos lay an even greater story? Aurelia's exploitation of Laysath was all a ruse. In fact, Aurelia had been Laysath's largest benefactor in aid. The truth remained hidden from the public, while any aid meant for food was spent on arms. Why did this happen? Why was a lavish party held to boast the performance of their newest weapon? The trail of money surrounding Diego Navarro would lead me to the answer. Diego Navarro is not only Laysath's commanding officer, but also controls their arms industry. He has used continued conflict as a means to amass an enormous fortune. This war was conceived as a replacement for the Civil War to further increase arms sales. I can't help but wonder how much of this truth the soldiers risking their lives for Laysath really know. The classified documents contained much more than just information on the airborne fortress. The transfer of financial revenue and commodities were also recorded in great detail. What does all of this have to do with Laysath's commanding officer Diego Navarro? Even after all that's happened, why does he still seem so naturally at ease? I've unwittingly found myself fearing for the safety of the Southern Cross.
All right, let me brief you on the main locations on the route to Griswold. Sir, please choose a route. First, remnant enemy soldiers are regrouping at the Kalana Steps and are planning an attack on Santa Elva. They currently aren't a threat, but we're curious as to what they're planning. I guess we're not much different from them in size or strength. The enemy Special Forces Skilla unit has set up camp at Sachana Air Base. They're not a squad you want to take on directly, but they're currently busy preparing to send reinforcements to the Kalana Steps. This might be the perfect time to catch them off guard. It appears that Laysath forces are shipping supplies to a large-scale manufacturing plant in Montebriz. It seems that they're manufacturing something, but there is a large radar facility close by on Mount Nevera. The Nevera jammer is located there, and we're unable to monitor their movements. The jamming extends as far as Griswold, so we need to do something about it. Although we really need to find out what's going on at Montebriz as well. Our capital is not far ahead. However, Griswold is heavily fortified and protected by the Mezim cannon. Fierce resistance is expected, but we must pull together and take back Griswold. We have obtained information that enemy stragglers from Santa Elva are gathering on the Kalana Steps. Unless we move now, we risk the enemy launching another incursion on Santa Elva. It appears that they are also expecting reinforcements and supplies from the Sachana Air Base to the northeast. If the remnant forces and the reinforcements are allowed to regroup, they could pose a problem. We need to attack now, while they are defenseless, and take them out of the battle for good.
The target enemy destruction ratio will be displayed on your MPG. Continue to destroy enemy targets until the number reaches 0. What a desolate place. Just wait a little longer. Reinforcements will be here before long with fresh supplies. Then we should be able to stick it to those Aurelians again. Enemy aircraft! The Southern Cross. Isn't that the guy who destroyed the Glacier? Oh, you've just been waiting target enemy destruction ratio will be displayed on your MPG. Continue to destroy enemy targets until the number reaches 0. What a desolate place. Just wait a little longer. Reinforcements will be here before long with fresh supplies. Then we should be able to stick it to those Aurelians again. The target enemy destruction ratio will be displayed on your MPG. Continue to destroy enemy targets until the number reaches 0. What a desolate place. Just wait a little longer. Reinforcements will be here before long with fresh supplies. Then we should be able to stick it to those Aurelians again. The enemy aircraft! The Southern Cross. Isn't that the guy who destroyed the Glacier? Nemesis. So you've just been waiting until now to strike. Our helicopters don't stand a chance against their fighters. Man, damn it, I'm not gonna die here! Alright, Griffin, one! I'm in. Evasive maneuver successful. Clark to Griffith Squadron. The mission was a success. Good job, Griffith 1.
The concentration of enemy troops on the Kalana steppes has been eliminated, allowing us to concentrate on Santa Elva. We can now freely continue our advance without having to constantly watch our flank. I apologize for letting enemy reinforcements get the drop on you. I should have been paying more attention to their movements. It won't happen again. That is all. The Skilla unit has left Sechana Air Base for Mount Nebra. Unfortunately, radar interference has prevented us from pinpointing their exact location. But we believe they have abandoned the Kalana steppes to protect the Nebra jammer. a recon team has infiltrated Monte Breeze and uncovered suspect enemy movement. It appears that LASAF used several of the large industrial complexes scattered throughout the area to produce some type of weapon. Unfortunately, jamming from Mount Nevra is preventing us from gathering any further details. The presence of numerous transport aircraft, however, has led us to believe that whatever the cargo is, they plan on taking it to Griswold. There isn't enough time to prevent the transport aircraft from taking off, but we should be able to utilize their radar jamming to shield our approach. If the enemy succeeds in escaping from the combat zone, we won't be able to follow. A lightning strike before they have time to react should prevent their escape. However, enemy jamming will render both radar and radio useless during the operation. Instead, Recon has made arrangements to transmit the position of the transport aircraft via infrared. Your mission is to work with the Recon unit to track and shoot down all transport aircraft. The mission will be considered a failure if any escape. We don't know what cargo is stowed within the transports, but there can be no doubt that it doesn't bode well for us.
Unit, so you're the one and only Southern Cross. We're counting on you. Are you picking up the infrared signal? We're clear of jamming here. We can't transmit past 30 miles, but there shouldn't be any problems at this distance. The number of enemy transports is being transmitted to your HUD. Don't let any escape. Radar jamming will prevent you from locking on a target, so you'll have to use your sight when firing. Stay relaxed and you can do it. This is the Northeast Jaguar unit. We've arrived on point. Transmission is a go. Southeast Pro unit, we've also arrived on point. It looks like the enemy is finally onto us. The transport has started to flee. Control tower, come in. This is the transport core.
In order to ensure our bid to capture the capital is a success, we need to first take back Sachana Air Base. Sachana Air Base is our country's largest air base. The enemy incurred heavy losses during the previous battle at Kalana Steppes, resulting in a near complete loss of air power in this area. However, enemy ground troops have already begun to form a formidable intercept force in their stead. The surrounding woods would put our ground troops at a distinct disadvantage, so a helicopter unit will be used to carry them in. Your mission, sir, will be to protect the helicopter unit until they can safely land at the target. Intelligence reports that enemy troops trained in guerrilla warfare and familiar with the terrain are holding this point. Infrared sensors have been attached to the HUD to help locate enemies hiding in the forest. The heat signature from an enemy's weapon will appear on the HUD whenever they fire. Use this chance to lock onto the target. Draw enemy fire and take out as many enemy positions as possible to ensure the safety of the helicopter unit.
So you're the famous Griffith Squadron. I've heard the stories. We're counting on you. All right, we're just going to concentrate on making it to the base. We won't be able to handle the enemies hiding in the forest, so we're leaving them up to you. Damage to the helicopter unit will be displayed on the MPG. Keep an eye on it. We won't be able to take the the base without them, so make sure they get there intact. So you're the famous Griffith Squadron. I've heard the stories. We're counting on you. All right, we're just going to concentrate on making it to the base. We won't be able to handle the enemies hiding in the forest, so we're leaving them up to you. The damage to the helicopter unit will be displayed on the MPG. Keep an eye on it. We won't be able to take the base without them, so make sure they get there intact. Here it comes! We're taking fire from the ground! Intelligence by until they've finished. Griffith 1, begin landing checks. You're clear to land. To touchdown. Two miles to touchdown. One mile to touchdown. You're on the money. Griffith 1, begin landing checks. You're clear to land. Three miles to touchdown. Two miles to touchdown. One mile to touchdown. You're on the money. Perfect, sir. Stand by and prepare for your next sortie.
The helicopter unit has brought Sechana Air Base under their control. The mission is a success. Air power from the base will be a vital asset, especially in the battle to retake Griswold. I have the feeling the day of our capital's liberation is not far off. LASAF has taken advantage of Mount Nevera's height and built a large-scale jamming station known as the Nevera Jammer, with enough power to effectively blanket the capital and all surrounding areas. The station is also blocking our ability to observe enemy activity in Montebreeze. Responsibility for taking care of the jamming station before it further interferes with the war effort has fallen into our hands. An array of high-performance SAMs and AA guns provide the Nevera Jammer with a formidable defense. The high-performance SAMs are difficult to avoid, even for the most advanced aircraft. You're done for the second you fly within range. ECM pods are of no use here either. The high-performance AA guns are also capable of shooting bombs and even long-range missiles out of the sky. We must first deal with this threat before we can move in for an attack on the jamming facility itself. Therefore, we must destroy the electric power transmitter that is providing them with energy. The location of this transmitter remains unknown, but a string of old power lines on Mount Nevera may just point the way. There is one complication. Intelligence reports that the elite Skilla unit is stationed here. Stay alert and don't let them catch you off guard. The transmitter's power output will be displayed on your HUD. Make sure the power output is at 0 before moving in to attack the jammer.
Pilots, check your plane and prepare for refueling. 1 mile to refueling craft. $500 yards to go. 100 yards to go. Left. You're coming into... Pilots, check your plane and prepare for refueling. 1 mile to refueling craft. $500 yards to go. 100 yards to go. Griffith 1, maintain your current flight path. Perfect, sir. Commencing refueling.
A recon team.
Unit. So you're the one and only Southern Cross. We're counting on you. Are you picking up the infrared signal? We're clear of jamming here. We can't transmit past 30 miles, but there shouldn't be any problems at this distance. The number of enemy transports is being transmitted to your HUD. Don't let any escape. Radar jamming will prevent you from locking onto targets. So you'll have to use your sights when firing. Stay relaxed and you can do it. This is the Northeast Jaguar Unit. We've arrived on point. Transmission is a go. Southeast Pro Unit, we've also arrived on point. It looks like the enemy is finally onto us. The transport has started to flee. Control tower, come in. This is the transport core. Any word on your destination? Orders response are negative. Hold your position. Stand by.
Solid. Increase out.
All transport aircraft that took off from Monte Breeze have been destroyed. They were trying to escape with MBSRs. Apparently, they were used to intensify the Meson cannon's beam. It gives me chills just to think about what might have happened had those things been delivered. Our mission is the liberation of Griswold. I'll explain the details. Griswold is protected by the Meson cannon. The cannon would have posed a much greater threat had LASAP succeeded in delivering the MBSRs. Thanks to your efforts in stopping their delivery, our ground forces should be able to approach the capital unhindered. If Allied forces are able to make their way to the center of the Atmos Ring and into Gaia's Tower, they will be able to take control of the enemy central command and free the city. It will be our duty to support the troops from above. LASAP's army is prepared for us. We expect this to be a fierce battle for both sides. Although the energy output of the Meson cannon is unstable, it can still inflict considerable damage to any Allied units caught within firing range. The more damage we inflict to the Meson cannon, the easier it will be for our troops to take the city. Interference from the Nevra jammer may cause radar malfunction during the mission. The capital's liberation is finally within our grasp. Sir, please decide the course of action.
Griffith 1, you are cleared for takeoff. Griffith 1, altitude restrictions canceled. Return to your mission. Good luck.
We've made it this far, sir. I can make them out now, the Atmos Ring at the Gaia's Tower. Makes me sick! Look at them, acting like they own the place! Back 2, get back in formation. We finally made it to the capital! Let's blast those LASAF bastards out! Wait, I'm getting readings from the Meson cannon. It's just been shut down! Even without the MBSRs, the Meson cannon is extremely powerful. Stay sharp up there.
We won't have the manpower to take the capital if casualties are too high. Try to keep them at a minimum. So, you're the Southern Cross? It's an honor to fly with you. Evasive maneuver successful.
Aircraft lost.
The missing can's destroyed. There's no escaping an attack. Our allies are in trouble. They need your help. Good kill. Griffith 1, come in! Oh no, he's been shot down! Casualties to the Allied forces will be displayed on your MPG. We won't have the manpower to take the capital if casualties are too high. Try to keep them at a minimum. So, you're the Southern Cross? It's an honor to fly with you. That's the wrong target! All right, Griffith 1! All right, I dodged it! The missing can's destroyed! There's no escaping an attack! Our allies are in trouble. They need your help.
Aircraft damaged. Warning. The enemy popped up.
Griffith 1, do something about those fighters.
Griffith 1, back another one! Somebody drive a missile into that tank up ahead. Ground force casualties at 25%.